Let's get right into it. Number 10. The feeling of being watched. Imagine you're walking home late at night and you get that unmistakable prickly sensation on the back of your neck. You instinctively glance over your shoulder, but there's nothing there. A few steps later, it happens again. You're completely alone, yet your brain is screaming that a pair of unseen eyes are boring into you. This isn't your imagination playing tricks. It's a genuine biological glitch that has been a part of human evolution for millennia. It's called the gaze detection system, and it's an ancient part of your brain that's designed to keep you from getting eaten. This system is so sensitive that it can be triggered by things that aren't even a threat. A shadow, a car headlight in your peripheral vision, or even a sudden shift in air pressure. The brain processes these minuscule changes and, because it's a drama queen, it jumps straight to the most dangerous possible conclusion: predator. It's better to be paranoid and wrong than to be nonchalant and end up as a lion's lunch. So your brain fabricates the creepy feeling of being watched, just in case. Essentially, your brain is a nervous, overprotective parent, constantly whispering, "Someone's watching you," even when you're just walking to the fridge at 3 a.m. Number 9. The phantom phone vibration. You're sitting at your desk, minding your own business, when you feel it, the unmistakable buzz of your phone in your pocket. You reach for it, pulling it out to check the notification, only to find the screen is completely blank. Nothing. No texts, no emails, no social media alerts. You put it back, and 5 minutes later, it happens again. This bizarre phenomenon, known as phantom vibration syndrome, is a form of tactile hallucination. It's a modern neurological quirk that is a perfect example of your brain adapting to the constant stimulation of the digital age. Our brains have become so wired to expect these notifications that they begin to manufacture them out of thin air. It's like a phantom limb, but for your technology. Your brain gets so used to the pattern of a phone vibrating that it starts to interpret random muscle twitches, the rub of your jeans against your leg, or even just a moment of boredom as the buzz of a notification. It's a hilarious, slightly sad case of your brain being a Pavlovian dog, salivating at the sound of a bell that isn't even there. You're not crazy, you're just a victim of a society that has trained your nervous system to be on a constant alert for a tiny rectangle of glass. Number 8. The echo chamber of your own thoughts. Have you ever been completely alone, maybe in your car or walking in a quiet park, when a song you hate suddenly gets stuck in your head? And not just stuck, but playing on repeat, like a broken record. You try to think of something else, but it's no use. The same 4 bars of that annoying pop song play over and over again, an infuriating loop that you can't escape. This is a classic example of an earworm, and it's a perfect illustration of how your brain can get trapped in a psychological feedback loop. Your brain, especially the part responsible for auditory processing, loves patterns. When it encounters a particularly catchy, simple melody, it latches on and starts replaying it, almost like it's trying to solve a puzzle. The more you try to ignore it, the more your brain doubles down. The neural pathways associated with that song get stronger the more you resist, creating a vicious cycle. It's a creepy reminder that your own mind can be a prison, with an annoying soundtrack you can't turn off. You're being tormented by your own internal radio station, and you're the only listener. Number 7. The sudden feeling of falling just before you fall asleep. You're drifting off into a peaceful sleep, your mind finally quiet after a long day. Suddenly, your whole body lurches, you gasp, and you're wide awake again, heart pounding, with the distinct feeling that you just fell from a great height. This unnerving sensation is called a hypnic jerk, and it's a perfectly normal but deeply unsettling part of the sleep cycle for most people. The leading theory is that your brain is having a bit of a panic attack. As your body relaxes and your heart rate slows down, your brain, which is still half awake, misinterprets these signals. It thinks your body is dying, or in a more primal sense, falling out of a tree. So it sends out a sudden burst of electrical signals to your limbs, causing them to twitch violently in a last-ditch effort to save you from the imaginary fall. It's a throwback to our ancient ancestors, who might have actually slept in trees. And this reflex would have been a vital, life-saving mechanism. Now, it just means you get to experience a tiny, terrifying, near-death experience every now and then before you get to the good part of dreaming. It's basically your brain's way of saying, "Nope, not today, buddy. You're not falling to your death on my watch." Number 6. The familiar stranger. You're at a coffee shop or walking through a busy street and you see a face. It's so familiar, so distinct, you're almost certain you know them. You rack your brain trying to remember where you met, a name, a context, but nothing comes. The feeling is powerful, almost like a sense of déjà vu, but for a person you've never met. It's a real and creepy psychological phenomenon that scientists believe is a product of your brain's facial recognition system going into overdrive. Your brain is a supercomputer when it comes to faces. It takes in and processes thousands of faces every day. The familiar stranger is likely someone who just happens to have features that closely match someone you know, or maybe even an amalgamation of features from several different people you've seen before. Your brain flags it as known, but because there's no memory to back it up, you're left with this weird, uncanny feeling of recognition without any of the details. It's a glimpse into the bizarre, sometimes disorganized filing system of your brain's memory bank. Number 5. When your inner monologue has a mind of its own. We all have that little voice in our head, the one that narrates our life, plans our day, and sometimes offers unhelpful commentary. But have you ever noticed that sometimes this inner monologue isn't exactly you? It might say something bizarre or cruel, or just something so out of character that it makes you stop and wonder, where did that come from? This is the fascinating and slightly unsettling reality that our thoughts aren't always under our conscious control. Our brains are a constantly firing network of neurons, and sometimes a random thought, an intrusive thought, will bubble up from the subconscious. It's not a reflection of your true character, it's more like a random pop-up ad in the browser of your mind. We have a part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, that acts as a bouncer, deciding which thoughts get to stay and which ones get thrown out. But sometimes, a particularly strange or persistent thought slips past the bouncer. It's a creepy reminder that your brain is a chaotic place and you're not always the one in charge. Your conscious mind is just the CEO, but your subconscious is a whole floor of chaotic, creative, and sometimes deranged employees. Number 4. The sense of impending doom. You're going about your day, everything is fine, and then, for no reason at all, you are overcome with a powerful, inexplicable sense of dread. Your heart rate quickens, your palms sweat, and you get a pit in your stomach like something absolutely terrible is about to happen. This isn't just anxiety. This is the creepy, primal feeling of impending doom, a phenomenon so profound that doctors will sometimes diagnose patients based on this feeling alone. It's a genuine biological alarm bell, a full-body red alert that your nervous system is screaming at you. The causes can be surprisingly mundane or deeply serious. Sometimes it's a physical reaction to a minor change in your body, a drop in blood sugar, a weird heartbeat, or even an electrolyte imbalance. Your body detects this small error and, lacking the ability to text you a polite warning, it sends a nuclear-level panic signal to your brain. This is why a sense of doom can sometimes be a precursor to a heart attack, a stroke, or a seizure. Other times, it's a deeply ingrained evolutionary response to an environmental cue you didn't consciously pick up on, like a subtle change in the weather or a sound you can't hear. It's a creepy reminder that your body is a walking, talking supercomputer that sometimes gives you a virus warning without telling you what the virus is. Number 3. The Uncanny Valley. We've all seen it, a robot, a doll, or a CGI character that looks almost human, but not quite. It has a disturbing, dead-eyed stare or a jerky motion that just feels wrong. This is the Uncanny Valley, a hypothesis in aesthetics that describes our emotional reaction to something that is almost, but not perfectly human. When we see something that is clearly not human, like a cartoon character or a toy car, we're fine. When we see something that is perfectly human, we're also fine. But when we see something that is in between, it's too real to be fake and too fake to be real. It triggers a powerful, revulsive response. This isn't just a matter of taste. It's a hardwired survival instinct. For our ancient ancestors, recognizing the difference between a living, breathing human and a corpse or a predator was a matter of life and death. A human with slightly off-kilter features might have been a sign of disease or genetic defect. Our brains evolved to react with discomfort to anything that looks sick or wrong in a human-like form, to keep us from getting too close. It's a powerful, unsettling feeling that's basically a very specific phobia of things that are not quite alive, and it's a brilliant example of how our ancient survival instincts still creep into our modern lives. Number 2. Auditory pareidolia. You're in the shower, and you hear a muffled voice calling your name. You turn off the water and listen, but the house is completely silent. You're certain you heard it, but there's no one there. This is a common and creepy phenomenon known as auditory pareidolia, which is when your brain finds patterns in random noise and interprets it as a voice. It's the same psychological quirk that makes you see faces in clouds or toast, but for your ears. Your brain is a pattern-seeking machine, and when it's presented with a vague or ambiguous stimulus, it tries to make sense of it with whatever information it has available. In a quiet, still house, the sound of a fan, the hum of a fridge, or the creak of an old house can all be misinterpreted as a whisper or a word. This is why people sometimes hear their name being called in the sound of a rushing wind or a static-filled radio. It's a testament to the power of suggestion and the incredible, sometimes terrifying ability of your own brain to create reality out of thin air. It's basically your brain's own built-in ghost generator, and it's always running in the background. Number 1. The Mandela effect. You remember it so clearly. The cartoon bears were called the Berenstain Bears with an E. You can picture the logo perfectly, but then one day you discover with a chilling sense of dread that they are and always have been the Berenstain Bears, spelled with an A. It's a small detail, but the feeling of cognitive dissonance is immense. This is a perfect example of the Mandela effect, a phenomenon where a large group of people collectively remember something that is demonstrably false. The name comes from the fact that many people distinctly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, when in reality he was released and became president of South Africa, living until 2013. The Mandela effect isn't just a quirky memory lapse. It's a terrifying glimpse into the fragility of our own memories and the collective consciousness. Psychologists believe it's a product of something called confabulation, where our brains fill in the gaps of our memory with plausible but false information. We're also social creatures, and if we hear a false memory repeated enough by other people, our brains might accept it as truth. It's a creepy reminder that your memory isn't a perfect video recording of your past, but a constantly edited and updated document. And even more unsettling, it shows that your perception of reality can be influenced by the misremembered realities of others. The Mandela effect is basically proof that our memories are a collaborative work of fiction, and sometimes the entire human race just gets a detail wrong. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.